Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Coach Bronson here, and I'm going to talk today about protein sparing modified fast, my thoughts on it, if I think it's applicable, effective, if I think you should do it, the issues I see, the benefits, all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about PSMF and should you be worried about it at all. Before we do that, I want to make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell so you're notified every time there's a new video that comes out. But most importantly, please share this information so that we can help as many people as possible. The more we share information we get, the more we share our stories, the more we spread the word about the ketogenic lifestyle and fitness and what it does to improve quality of life, the more people we can help every day. All right, so protein sparing modified fast. Let's talk about that. Okay, the idea of the protein leverage concept, right? Protein, our body wants to get as much protein as possible. When we get protein, we have the building blocks for metabolic function, and it's different than fuel. Okay, so fuel, carbs, and fat are where we get most of the energy of our body. Okay, our body uses uses carbs, uses fat for fuel. Protein is not a primary source of fuel for the body. Okay, so that being said, if we have two different utilization pathways for macronutrients, protein is used for one thing, fat and carbs are used for another, then the total calories that we take in every day, most of the calories from the protein don't go towards that idea. Okay, we're talking about it as an idea because it's definitely not the end all be all of body composition. The idea of caloric deficit, caloric surplus. Okay, that's one of the reasons why total calories in, total calories out isn't as an effective methodology or concept for maintaining body composition while supporting metabolic health. Okay, that's a different conversation for another day. You guys know that I'm not a proponent of calories in, calories out. There's a lot more to it. So when we look at protein and fat and carbs being separate, okay, there is a process. Maria Emmerich is a huge proponent. She's probably the biggest person right now out there talking about PSMF, and it's helped a lot of people lose a ton of fat, lose a lot of weight. The food options that she's got out there, there's a ton of different things, and she's helping thousands of people. Okay, now here's a couple of things about PSMF that we need to be aware of. Okay, it's essentially taking a section or a portion of your week, 2 to 3 days a week, okay, where you drop your fat to basically nothing. Like it's super low fat. You're already super low carb. So you're prioritizing a higher percentage of protein in your diet for 2 to 3 days a week. Okay. Think of it as like shocking your body by just completely removing all fuel. Okay, you're forcing your body for 2 to 3 days a week it has to access fuel from your body, the fat that's stored on your body. So a lot of people use this as a way to break a plateau. They use it as a way to kind of ensure that they're prioritizing, not even prioritizing, that they're always giving their body every week a chance to say, hey, body fat, let's get some going. Let's get it going. Okay. Um, there's a few things that come with this that I think are possible pitfalls. Okay. It's a tool. Okay. Just like a lot of the things that we talk about with the different biohacks and hacking and things that people can do, cold therapy, red light therapy, PSMF, intermittent fasting, OMAD. There's a ton of things that you can do, guys, that can help you move forward in your journey. Okay. Here's the thing that I want you to remember. What is your goal? If your goal is fat loss, then you can hack your way to all sorts of things. Okay. There's all sorts of techniques and tactics and um, tools that are in the toolbox that can help you lose fat. Okay. If that is your only goal, then you will always be using tools and hacks and tactics to maintain that fat loss. If you're using PSMF to lose your body fat, and that's the only focus that you have, okay, chances are you will have to do that. Or when that stops working, find something else. Okay. Maybe you go to PSMF, or maybe you go to intermittent fasting, or maybe you do a super restrictive diet for a period of time, or you have to go and work out an extra 5 hours a week to try to maintain body fat. There's a whole set of things. When you focus on hacks to maintain body composition, then the hacks become the foundation of your lifestyle, not the other way around. Okay? Hacks, biohacks, techniques, tactics should be supplemental to a solid foundation of health and fitness, not the other way around. And this is a trap that I think a lot of people get into. Okay? So with PSMF, it's a tool. Okay? Here's a couple reasons why I don't like to base my solutions for people on tools, a single tool. Okay? Or a single hack, whatever you want to call it. Couple things that I get from people who are doing PSMF. They get tired, they feel like they're hungry, they get hangry, and they get bored with their food. Okay. Now there's ways around that. Okay. You can do PSMF. If you're tired, up your electrolytes. Okay. Only do it for 2 days and not 3. Maybe do it for 1 day, right? See how you feel. Do it for 2 days. If you still feel tired, then stop and go back to your regular routine for the third day. Okay. 2 to 3 days most. Okay. If you're going to do it, if you feel tired, up your electrolytes. That's usually the number one thing when it comes to PSMF. Up your electrolytes and you'll be fine. It's definitely something that I've done PSMF. I've tried it. Electrolytes were the key for me. Okay. If you're hungry, chances are you're not eating enough. Okay. We'll talk about that. That's a pitfall of PSMF. Okay. We tend to think when we're restricting, we tend to restrict more than what we're actually trying to focus on. If you're bored with the food, Maria has got some fantastic options. She's got so many different recipes where she's come up with ways to make high protein, super tasty, right? Lots of flavor, variety, all sorts of different things from main meals to side dishes to desserts that are all high protein, super low fat, and fit the macro and fit the process of being protein sparing modified fast. Okay. The idea being that you can have the variety and still maintain high protein, low fat. So those are the two things. There's ways to get around that. Okay, like I said, you don't have to be tired, you don't have to be hungry, you don't have to be bored. Here's the problem. Okay, and I say this not detracting from PSMF as a tool. Remember, there are tools and there are times to use things as needed if you get stuck. Okay, my issue with PSMF is that people focus on it first, not the foundational stuff. Okay, it's very, very, very easy to do PSMF wrong. Okay. The number one way, and this is similar to intermittent fasting or OMAD. Okay. People tend to reduce their overall intake, not just reduce their carbs. Okay. So you're instead of just saying, okay, or carbs or fat, instead of just saying I'm reducing my fat and eating more protein, trying to get more of it in, right? Because it's not just if your protein is here and your fat is here, when you go PSMF, you drop your fat, you need to raise your protein a little bit, right? Give yourself more. The idea is to increase your intake, increase your satiety, increase your thermogenesis, increase what your body's doing with protein. Okay. Give yourself more things to work with. Your fuel is going down, your overall calories are going down, but you can still eat more. The idea of eating protein, guys, focusing on protein is you can eat as much as you want. Okay. But often people drop it down way low and they undernourish themselves. Okay. And then the other thing is you think people fall into the trap. Okay. Well, if I do this for 2 days and it's helping me lose body fat, I can do it for 3 days. It's going to help me lose more body fat. Well, if I do it for 3 days, I should do it for 4 days. It's going to be even better. Well, if I do it for 4 days, then 5 days, what could be wrong with that? I'm just making my body burn more body fat. That's all it is. And then they're doing it 6, 7 days a week. Okay. The idea of a protein sparing modified fast is to cycle through, give your body a chance to be metabolically healthy and functioning with the fuel that you need, then take it away for a little bit, then give it back. Okay. If you were always running in a super low intake of fuel, then your body is not going to work as well as you want it to. And it's going to, we talk about supercompensation. It's the same with fitness. Okay. If you are always stressing the body, then you're going to you're going to change from hormetic stress to a chronic stress. Hormetic stress is the kind of stress that helps your body function, provides a stimulus to help improve what your body does. If you continually stress yourself, like overtraining, if you continually work out and you never take a rest day or two, then your body's never going to have a chance to recover and learn how to perform better. Okay. If you do PSMF 5, 6, 7 days a week, your body's never going to have a chance to recover and improve and perform better and get back to a level of homeostasis where the benefits you're getting from that PSMF are actually helping you improve your composition. Okay. So don't do it. If you're going to do it, don't do it more than 3 days a week. Don't do it more than 3 days a week. Take the time, let your body recover, and get back to a good level of function and a better level of function before you do it again. Okay. Um, the other detractors, other reasons I don't really like PSMF, particularly when you're just getting started. If you're just getting started, okay, you've got a lot of stuff on your plate. You've got to worry about what am I eating, how am I working out, understanding some of the backgrounds of what metabolism is and how the different macronutrients work, and what can I eat, what can I eat, how do I fit this into my schedule, how do I do meal prep, how do I track my food. There's so many things on your list. Your head is full. Okay. The last thing you need to do is add in what days am I doing PSMF? What days am I not? How much does that day change compared to my normal day? How do I come up with the new recipes that fit this and make all of that stuff work together? Okay. PSMF as a tool adds complexity to your routine. It is not easy to maintain. It's just not. The amount of time that it takes to manage and track and plan what your meals are going to be to make sure that they're PSMF in many cases is more than the bandwidth you have in your brain and emotions, okay, and day and schedule and all of the other things going on that you have to deal with. Okay. There are many, many times where people get overwhelmed trying to do PSMF, trying to do all of these things while they're just getting started, right? You don't need to worry about that right now. There's a level of basics, there's a level of foundational information, um, basic scheduling and planning, and just getting into a routine of things at a minimum level before you add that complexity. All right. So that's one of the other challenges of the PSMF. Just remember, you don't, number one, you don't have to do it. Okay. So if you're doing it, make sure you're doing it in at a time in your process, in your journey where it's not overwhelming you. The whole thing, guys, remember, I've said this before, the whole process of helping improve your quality of life is not to detract from your quality of life by adding something in that's going to stress you out. Adding stress isn't helping you get better. It's just not. If you're stressed out over maintaining a tactic or maintaining something, you need to figure out a way to pull that back, de-stress it, make it more simple so that you can affect change more sustainably. Okay. Um, Here's my biggest thing. And this is not just PSMF. This is all hacks, biohacks, tricks, tactics, whatever it may be. 99% of them are designed to help you lose fat. Okay. I don't care about your fat. If you are looking at a methodology, a tool set, tactics, techniques, whatever it may be, whatever words you want to give it, if you're looking at a way to help improve your health and fitness, the first thing you need to look at is this helping me improve how my body functions first? If you're looking at how can I lose fat, you will always be worried about fat loss because you haven't fixed the problem. If you focus on, is this helping me improve my function, metabolic function, okay, how my body actually works and processes food and creates energy and moves my muscles and repairs and recovers, all of those things, the fat loss will take care of itself. Okay. You won't need to worry about cycling fuel, increasing protein, dropping protein, and doing all these other things, adding it into your routine. You won't need to. You won't need to. Okay. If you focus on fixing your metabolism first. All right. That's all I'm going to say there. Okay. Anything that you're evaluating for improving your body composition, should be based on function first, fat loss second or last, not even at all. Okay, there's a lot of other factors that can go into that. Don't even worry about your fat loss, guys. I know that's right. Like, how can I not worry about fat loss? Your level of fat is an indicator of your level of health, not the other way around. You are not unhealthy because you're fat. You're fat because you're unhealthy. Remember that. That is the key to the whole thing. Okay? So if you're doing something, I say it again, if you're doing something because you're worried about trying to lose fat, you've got it backwards. Start fixing your body first. Okay? That's one of the reasons why I don't usually recommend PSMF for most people. Okay? Because it's focused on fat loss, not metabolic function. Now, recommended options. Here's how we get around PSMF. Okay? Using the same methodology, the same concepts, the same scientific principles of PSMF, we're going to flip the script a little bit. Okay? Fuel management overall instead of cycling in and out. Okay, so when we look at the protocols that I use, we talk about managing your protein, right? Your protein should be 1 gram per pound of lean mass or more, right? You can get as much protein as you want. I don't care. Have a blast. Okay, overeat it. There's no such thing as overeating, in my opinion. Eat all the protein you want. From a fuel perspective, I'm going to introduce a concept. Okay, the idea of how much fuel can you intake before your body stops losing fat. Okay. There's a level of fuel that you got to find. It's called the maximum energy threshold. Okay. How much fuel can you take in where your body starts adding fat or stops losing fat? Basically, there's that line. If I have this much fuel, my body's going to start adding body fat. If I go under that much fuel, I'll start losing body fat. Okay. Maximum energy threshold. You want to learn and figure out what that number is. It's going to be different for everybody, and it's going to change based on your activity level, your lean body mass, your BMR, all sorts of things. All right. So you have to every once in a while figure out what that is. Okay. So here's the process. You guys know I like to start everybody at 1 to 1, right? So if you weigh 200 pounds and you have 25% body fat, then you have 150 pounds of lean mass. Okay. And 150 is your number. So you should be getting 150 grams of protein and 150 grams of fuel. Okay. Fat and carbs combined. Both of those numbers go into there. Okay. Now we're making the assumption that you're ketogenic, or carnivore. So you're going to be getting 25 grams of fuel or less. So at a minimum, you should be getting 125 or maximum 125 grams of fat every day. That's your starting number. Okay. You start at 125 grams. Now, if you start this process and you're like, okay, I'm getting 150 grams of protein, I'm getting 150 grams of fuel, and I'm losing fat, you know that you are under your maximum energy threshold. If you're losing body fat, you are under your maximum energy threshold. If that number is 1 to 1 for you and you feel like you're happy there, you can stay there, you're not hangry, you have energy throughout the day, then stay there. You don't need to adjust anything. There's no rush. This is another trap that people get into. This is the same idea, the same trap that people get into with PSMF. Well, if I'm losing body fat doing it 2 days a week, then I'll lose more if I do 3. I'll lose more if I do 4. I'll lose more if I do 5. No. If you're losing, you're losing. It's not about the loss. It's about supporting your metabolism. Okay. And here's the cool thing. If you're giving yourself enough fuel and you're giving yourself enough protein, it allows you to function and do other things like fitness activities, have enough energy, recover on time, and supports the whole picture of quality of life and function, not just fat loss. This is why I like this. It's a sustained process. You don't get hangry. You don't have energy issues. You don't feel like you're starving or you have issues with variety of food. You can do the things you want to do because you're not limiting your fuel so much that you have to change your routine halfway through the week every week. Okay? Sustainability and consistent performance is more important. Okay? Metabolic function. So if I know I'm getting this much protein, I know I'm getting this much fuel and it's working for me, I'm satisfied, then I can just maintain it. And over time, I'm just going to lose the body fat because I'm supporting my lifestyle, I'm supporting my metabolic function, and everything's copacetic. Okay. If you even wanted to, here's the cool thing about the maximum energy threshold. If you start at 1 to 1 and it's working, there's a very good chance you might even be able to go up. Okay. If you start at 1 to 1 and say 150 is your number and you're losing at 125 grams of fat, 25 grams of carbs, okay, you're in that 150. It's possible you could up your fat to 135, maybe add 10 grams. Try it for a couple weeks. Are you still losing body fat? Do you still have energy? Is everything still good? Do you feel like you're having any issues, any extra inflammation, whatever? If you're adding body fat by adding 10 grams, then you know somewhere between 125 and 135 of fat is your maximum energy threshold. So drop it back down to 125 and you should be good. Okay. If you can go to 140 and you're still losing body fat, you get on that body composition scanner, your in-body at-home device, which I highly recommend everybody gets. You get on your in-body device and it says, "Hey, you're still losing body fat." Sweet. I can have a little extra butter. I can have a fattier cut of meat. I can do things, and it gives me more leeway in my daily life to enjoy or change up what I'm doing because I have more fat to play with. I have more fuel to play with. I don't have to go to lean cuts of meat. I can eat more bacon, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Finding your maximum energy threshold is the key to sustaining metabolic performance because you don't have to change what you're doing every 3 days based on your intake, right? You can do the same thing every day. Okay. So it helps with sustainability. It helps with consistency of performance. It helps with enjoyment of the process because you don't have to severely limit your fuel intake 3 days a week. All right. I think this is a much better way to go. And this is what I base my programs on, guys. If you can maintain something and still see the benefits of it, then you're going to have more success than trying to overcomplicate things and make things more sort of like transitory, going back and forth between different things all the time and trying to mix up your schedule constantly. Okay, so that's my thoughts on PSMF. Again, it's a tool. I'm not saying there's never never a situation where it can be beneficial. I think it can be in some certain cases, but for the most part, most of the people I've ever worked with, okay, they have found more success trying to find a way that is sustainable, that they can perform consistently, and that helps them manage and maintain metabolic performance as opposed to constantly shifting week to week, having a little more complexity, and focusing on fat loss. All right. So hopefully that information was helpful. If you have any questions about it, please, by all means, if you're not in the Facebook group, hop in the Facebook group, ask questions in there, ask a question on the comments. If you have any ideas or thoughts, I'm always up for listening and talking about it. See you.